Would I be the arsehole here if I, female 28, told my husband, male 28, that his sleep boundaries went out the window when he had our son? My husband, we will call Brad, and I have been together for 2.5 years. We had our son in January. Things have been pretty great, but this had me feeling kind of annoyed. Brad is diagnosed with autism and ADHD, which can make communication between us challenging at times, but we do our best. We live in Europe, not the US. Since Brad has ADHD, he only works 50%, and the other half is covered by a health insurance here on a temporary basis, and every few months he has to keep applying for more. It is stressful as we wait for him to hopefully get on a permanent coverage. Since this is so up in the air, instead of me taking a full year of maternity leave, he took a majority of the days in case his temp health insurance is denied for some reason. Then he can keep his work schedule at 50% and still get paid on the days he has off, which means I went back to work part-time. I work from home as a private teacher. I choose my hours. Since my students usually live in different countries, I chose some in the afternoon when Brad is home with our son, and at nights when my students would be awake and Brad is also home. I only have one student in the evening, 11 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. twice a week. This is to help with some income, and we discussed this before I even went back to work. He had asked no students past midnight, so if baby is having issues sleeping, he can take care of him and hopefully get him to sleep. Well, Brad got back on a schedule where he wants to go to bed at 11 p.m. every night. We try to, but with a baby, sometimes it just doesn't happen. Baby sometimes will stay asleep when I put him to bed, as I nurse him to sleep, and sometimes he wakes up screaming. Last night, I told Brad that I had my student at 11 p.m., and I would try having baby sleeping by then. He asked me, well, what's your plan if baby wakes up? My bedtime is 11 p.m., so hopefully you've thought of something. I said, well, hopefully he stays asleep. If not, you'll just have to take care of him or put him on his playmat and entertain him. He resolutely said, bedtime is 11 p.m. and I will go to bed. Come 11 p.m., baby is in bed and Brad is just getting out of the shower. I guess he woke up moments after I started with my student, as when I came out of the office, he was walking around with baby. I took him, nursed him back to sleep, and went to bed also shortly after 11:30 p.m. This morning, he was a bit annoyed with me. When I tried to hug him goodbye as he was leaving to work, he did not hug me back. We always do this before he leaves. So I said, "Are you upset with me still?" He replied, "Yes, you crossed my boundary. My bedtime is 11 p.m. We discussed this. I go to bed, and anything past that is your problem to solve if baby wakes up." He left for work, and I was just thinking, what? I feel I need to have some discussion with Brad about this, but would I be the asshole here if I told him that he has no more boundaries with his sleep and that he's being ridiculous? In the comments, Puzzle-Headed Rub says, "No, your hubby is the asshole here if he thinks he can make a whole baby but only parent according to clock shifts. It's a 24-hour-a-day job, Dad. Time to be grown up, Dad." ADHD isn't an excuse either. Plenty of ADHD people are parents. Adapting may not be a favorite thing, but it can be done. Maybe he'll need more breaks and support, but to bow out completely at a specific o'clock daily is a form of weaponized incompetence. Also, boundaries are what you do when someone acts against your limitations. Your husband issued a rule that you never agreed to. Get his ass in parenting classes. He has the time. His expectations are not in alignment with reality at all. Also, withholding affection as punishment, not hugging you in the morning to make his point, is a form of emotional abuse. Dude needs to be in counseling too. Edit. Emphasis on withholding affection as punishment, because withholding affection due to needing personal space, time to emotionally process, or sensory needs is not the same thing. He could have spoken differently in the morning, but it seems he's pretty obviously holding a grudge. Yeah, agreed with most of this, except withholding affection. Being forced to give physical favors when you're upset and don't want to be touched is abuse. Both partners have full ownership of their bodies at all times. Physical affection is for shared loving moments. So then you'd need to explain that and discuss with your partner. Wordlessly withholding affection as punishment is emotional abuse. If you say, hey, I'm upset right now, so I don't really want to touch, then that's absolutely fine, which to be fair to OP's partner, he did do when asked. So I don't really get the claim of emotional abuse in this case. I think because it seems like he wasn't hugging her in order to punish her, not distance himself. It feels like an I'm going to emotionally hurt you response rather than an I'm hurt and need space response. Nuance is the reason that I never bring up affection withholding online, because it's very dependent upon the relationship and mindset of the people in the relationship. Not the asshole. Your husband is being ridiculous. He is a father, he should act like it. Babies wake up in the night. It's not fair to expect you to take care of it all by yourself while he peacefully sleeps every night. He is a parent, he needs to parent his child. OP says, that's what my mother said. If it means that he has to walk around with baby to calm him, he just has to. My schedule is not a surprise either. It was something we discussed weeks before I even went back. Epiphone replies, not to mention the fact that you're having to return to work early after pregnancy because of the financial issues caused by him only working part-time. OP replies, well, the thing is, in our country and Europe, he is technically employed full-time, but due to his disabilities, he only works 50% and the other 50% is covered by a health insurance here. Yes, his work knows, all of it is legal. I'm not from Europe originally, so I might be explaining this badly, but if he loses the income from the health insurance, he only gets paid 50% from work. Calamity Clambake says, I think you're explaining it perfectly. I think a lot of Redditors are blown away by the concept that the government would cover 50% of a PhD's wages just because they have ADHD, because a lot of Redditors are from the US, where that would never happen. It seems like an extreme luxury to us to have a parent who only has to work 20 hours a week. The fact that your husband can't or won't handle his share of the parenting when he only has to work 20 hours a week is really hard for this American to grasp. I hope your husband is extremely grateful to his country and to you for taking on so much of his load. Yeah, I don't buy it either personally. I think that he's using it as a weaponized incompetence excuse. It being his ADHD. No one cares. Life does not care that your bedtime is 11 p.m. You have a kid now. That's it. End of story. The kid's needs come before your wants. And an 11 p.m. bedtime is a want. It's not a need. I get where he's coming from, and I get that he has his frustrations about this, but at the end of the day, OP's not an asshole for having a problem with him refusing to be a parent. You just can't be a part-time parent like that. It doesn't work. It's unfair to everyone. I would be just as pissed off as she is in this situation because this just won't work out long-term if he continues to stonewall anything like this. Oh no, I'm going to withhold affection in the morning because I'm upset that you forced me to be a parent. Welcome to the real world, man. Sorry that I'm forcing you to do your parenting role. Jesus Christ. Obviously talk to him and have a more well-rounded discussion about this so that you can get him on side, but like, man, come on. It's pissing me off that he's like this. And now, onto the update. So, he came home, and we had a long talk about how his words can be easily misunderstood, especially if he does not clarify to me or I ask him to. How a baby equals no boundary with sleep. We do our best, all we can do. We need to spend more time as a family together. I explained how, to a neurotypical person, his words and actions hurt, even if that's not his intent. That baby is the priority always, even our mental health. We only have each other, and even though I can sympathize with the mental health, you just have to push past it. I'm doing all I can, and if you need help, ask for it. He's willing to get extra support at the neuropsych where we live beyond what he has. He is medicated and getting all the help he can and will seek ways to cope. I made it clear that in no way was his reaction okay and it cannot happen again for the baby's sake. He seemed to understand. As some of you suggested him getting extra support for his ADHD, he will. I will also ask for some counseling on how to communicate better myself to him. Around the house, he will spend less time alone, more with us. Free time happens after or when baby sleeps, not before. Games can be played in the living room where we are together. Also, my mother offered to be on call if she has the time, so if husband is alone with baby, she can video chat with baby, which he likes. I talk with her on video almost every day, and sometimes it can snap baby into a better mood when he sees his granny. And yes, we live in Sweden, so we get 480 days between us, and we can share and trade, so that I can get some days back if it comes to it. I was never forced to give up my days, it was my choice due to what was happening at the time. He only works 50% because that is what he feels he can do without burning himself out. He has other health issues, diabetic, EDS, that make him more exhausted. His job pays pretty well, but only just half his wage is not enough. If he gets permanent health insurance, it could take a few years. We hope. I'm with him because when I met him, he was under less pressure. He is fully capable, had a job, cleaned his apartment, has a social life, but I think the stress of having the health insurance and our son, sometimes just being a baby got to him. Prior to this, he has been a good husband and father and has been considerate. I'm not stupid. I was in an abusive relationship prior to this. My parents love him, just not his behavior at times like now. He messed up with his words, and he has acknowledged that. Some of you thought that it might be a deeper issue, but no. I asked, and he just said that he was upset because to him, I was working at a time he did not agree to, but I had to remind him that wanting to go to bed at 11 p.m. was recent, as in back in May when I started to go back to work. He is just stressed from work, baby, and just day-to-day things. He apologized for how he rejected my hug by standing there. He was annoyed. That's why he didn't reciprocate, and how he worded things last night and this morning. I promised no students past 11:30 p.m., and he said of course he would never let our son just cry if he was going to bed, I had student and baby was awake. Will it stick? I don't know. We just take things one day at a time. The next step is couples counseling as opposed to individual and involving my parents whom he respects. In the comments, Burner3 says, "Thank you for giving your husband grace. I also have ADHD, and the sleepless nights were awful for me. I was undiagnosed at the time and really struggled with lack of sleep. I still do, and my husband did the bulk of the night shifts, and I will be eternally grateful for that. I think being bluntly honest with him is good. If he's exhausted, and which new parent isn't, and burned out, then it's going to be harder for him to regulate himself. I'm not excusing his actions at all, but I just wanted to show my appreciation for how you were handling his disabilities. I wish you all the best." OP says, "He has his own office space. The baby's routine usually means he falls asleep at 8, but after 8, free time." OK Independent says, "I don't quite agree with the no alone time until baby is asleep. I am the default parent. I did all of the nights with my boys. I think taking some alone time, especially when overstimulated, is a must, especially if you're able to. I'm not just talking about him, but you as well. Every parent deserves to be able to step away in those especially hard moments with their babies, children, or arguments." Annie Orange says, "I'm sorry to say this so directly, but I think he's using his condition to be a lazy parent and human being overall. People who don't have autism and ADHD still get burnt out, especially when having a baby, especially when they're the mother. Well, what about you? You just birthed his baby, you're back to work, and from the way that you've described your family dynamics, it seems to me like you're doing most of the work yourself. Has he considered that you might need a break? And have you considered that you might be actually more burnt out than him, but you're just not as lazy?" Many questions to ponder, many answers we will not be receiving, but that's just the way that it goes sometimes. I think they are doing their best with what they have. I hope that his continued therapy helps him out and helps give him the tools that he needs to be more active in the baby's life and in her life. No situation like this is ever going to be easy with a new child, with a messed up routine because of that child and having to balance your life around it. I'm not bashing on people with disabilities. My anger in the first half of this video was not meant to be taken as me bashing people with ADHD. Please don't take it like that. I understand that, on top of it, he has the EDS, he has the diabetes, he has ADHD. There is a lot going on. Hopefully with help, he is able to overcome that, but he can't be stonewalling OP and I'd say emotionally manipulating her for just trying to have a healthy household. That's how I see her actions. It's hard and I hope they figure it out. Thank you for the update and thank you for the story, OP. Our next post is by user ThrowRA Stacks and Rice, and it's titled, "Would I be the asshole if I go low contact with my niece and take back her gifts?" So yesterday, I went over to my sister's house to help her with some things. I was there for a couple of hours and took a little nap for 4 hours because I was tired. After I woke up, I went home and my husband was being a little off and seemed kind of upset/unhappy. I'm like, "What's up?" And he says I'm being nice for someone who just texted what I did. I sent my kids upstairs and started asking what the hell was going on. He says I sent him divorce texts. I'm shocked because I never did that, which I let him know. I even showed him my phone, which did not show any such texts. He then shows me his messages under my name, and apparently I want a divorce. I was bamboozled because not only did I not think it, but I definitely did not text that. This affected him a little more because we had a fight the previous night, but we have a tradition of sorts, which is reassuring each other that we still love and care, but are just upset at the moment. I'm only adding this because I said something along those lines in the morning before I left, which I brought up when I was defending myself against the text that I supposedly sent. He then says that I had done something similar previously. This is in reference to when I was pregnant and had some pseudo-bipolar moments, which have since been mostly resolved. I've only done this once, and it wasn't even on the same level. I just kinda used to have terrible mood swings. Also, this was only during the pregnancy. I have no bipolar diagnosis or anything like that. That whole journey was kind of traumatic and is not a pleasant memory for me, which he is aware of. Anyway, after we bicker for a little bit, I decided to call my sister and explain what was happening, and then I'm like, "Hey, can you pull up your house footage from while I was there this morning?" We're on FaceTime, and we fast forward to when I went to sleep. The outlet in the room that I was in wasn't working, so I'd plugged my phone into the dining area to charge while I slept. We see my 16-year-old niece on my phone. She was on it and off it for 2.5 hours, smiling and giggling. I'm upset, and her mum is upset as well. She calls her and asks if she touched my phone while I was there, and she lies and says no. She asks her again 2 more times if she touched my phone, and she says she didn't. The laptop is faced away from her, and I believe she didn't realize I was on the phone or that we both already saw what she did. It was after my sister started trying to send me the footage, which I had initially asked for, that she saw that her mum had already seen what happened. She started apologizing and saying that it was supposed to be a prank and she didn't mean anything by it. She called out to me too with apologies while she was crying. My sister is one of those silent when angry types, so she wasn't saying anything. I didn't even know what to say at all this time because why would she even think that this was a fun prank? Not to mention going into my phone without my permission. How she knows my password, I'm not sure, because it's not simple or related to me. I had initially promised that I would sponsor her 17th birthday, which is next month. She had previously also asked for a new PC, which I got, but it's supposed to be a surprise. I also happen to be her godmother. My question is, will I be overreacting if I take all of these gifts back and keep a distance from her? Is it overkill? I feel maybe I'm punishing her for the way my husband reacted and brought up something traumatic for me. Also, maybe his response is justified because he thought the texts were from me and then I was all smiley and sweet when I came back. I'm confused on how to proceed, but Reddit has previously helped figure stuff out before, so I decided to turn to them again. Sorry if this was too lengthy, and let me know if there's anything that I have to clarify. Thanks. Update. Thank you everyone for all the comments and advice. It is incredibly appreciated. All these things happened yesterday. I only posted because I was slightly conflicted. To answer common questions in the comments, yes, I slept for 4 hours at my sister's house. She's my sister, and we do stuff like that. I didn't say that I was tired from what I helped her with, I was simply just tired. Both my sister and niece were not aware of my husband's and my fight from the previous night. Niece was also not aware of the full extent of my mental health struggles from the pregnancy. Niece wasn't texting for 2.5 hours straight, she was on and off the phone. I assume she got off it when she thought that she would be caught. Apparently, she has known my password for a while now. She learned it from looking over my shoulder at a family event from a couple of months back. Also, according to my sister, she's gone into my phone before, at least 3 times that she fessed up to. She has transferred money to herself, taken videos and pictures of it, gone through my texts with my kids and some other relatives, stolen other people's numbers, gotten passwords for my streaming services that they didn't own, and gone through my other texts with my husband, and yes, there is very NSFW stuff in there. My husband is okay. We talked, and he apologized for how he spoke to me, but I told him that I totally understood why he would say what he said. I also apologized for my reaction. We are both okay on our front, and decided that we were both justified given what we both individually knew. Back to the niece, the only thing she did according to her was transfer more money. I checked my recently deleted texts, and there was nothing suspicious there, but I don't know if you can delete texts from recently deleted. She also said she thought the prank would be funny because there was no way my husband would believe all of the stuff she texted because according to her, he loves me too much and we have a perfect relationship. In the texts, he had only replied that we would talk when I got home and that he wasn't going to have that conversation with me over texts. This girl went all the way to add that I would send the papers in a couple of days and talk about the kids with lawyers. I can't explain how absolutely pissed I am. The plan is to go absolutely no contact with her after learning of all the other stuff she did. There will be no birthday and no PC. Someone said to put up a post saying if anyone got a questionable text from me in the last 24 hours, to let me know. I did that, and no one had reached out yet, so I'm hoping it was just my husband. I'm getting my money back. I checked, and in total, she had sent over $700 to herself that I wasn't aware of. She did not send it in bulk, just little bits here and there. I guess I didn't catch on because I do send her money often, and I do have quite a bit in my account, so it wasn't obvious. Her mother will send the money to me from her daughter's savings later this weekend. I told her mother about the suggestions that you guys gave on community service and therapy. I'm low-key scared for her future relationships and college life. She would not have any electronic devices for the rest of the summer. Personally, I don't want to lay eyes on her in the near future. Oh, and yes, she has done this before to one of her friends whom she is still friends with. I don't know why anyone would remain friends with someone like that. This hurt a lot because I love this child so much. I was more present than her father for the first 11 years of her life. She used to come to me for struggles and problems and all that teenager stuff. She had her first period at my house. Her other cousins on her dad's side are jealous of our relationship, for goodness sake. She was my favorite one. I don't really care what her mum does about all of this. I just want my money back and to never speak to her for now. In the future, I might be open to some contact. I blocked her number, so she sent me a long email which I haven't read yet, and her mum also brought a handwritten apology letter from her to my husband. My sister is aware of my decisions and has apologized for her daughter's behavior. My mum is also aware of the situation now. I have no doubt that it's about to become an extended family problem. Anyway, that's that for now. In the comments, Short Classroom says, "She's old enough to know that that shit wasn't funny. I'd ask for community service in lieu of grounding and punishment, and I'd return all the gifts. What a shit thing to do. She's only crying now because she got caught, not the asshole." Next Effect says, "I wouldn't spend one dime on her. She needs to learn that actions have consequences. At 16, she knows better and should do better. Is OP's marriage a joke to her? Why is upending a marriage funny? Is that how teenagers joke these days? This is a good teachable moment that actions have consequences. No birthday or Christmas gifts. Couldn't agree more. It's a very disgusting thing to do to someone. And I imagine if you were to tell her that you had all these gifts, she'd be like, oh, come on, I still deserve them. What I did wasn't that bad. No, you only just tried to break up my marriage and do the most disgusting things possible out of jealousy. That's all it is. This came from a place of jealousy, and what right do you have as a 16-year-old to be jealous of my marriage? Like, what's wrong with you, you delusional, destructive little demon of a woman? How dare you do something like this? Oh, it's just a prank, bro. How about I go sinking all of your future relationships and tell you that it's a prank as well? I'm sure it's going to be so funny when that happens. Everyone's going to laugh when I start saying that I've been cheating on you through text messages to your future boyfriends. And they're really going to take that so well. It's going to be so funny. Wow, pranks like this are the best, guys. We should normalize this. What a fun thing to do. Anyway, I'm sure you can tell what my stance on this situation is. Not the asshole OP. Continue going no contact with her. That is disgusting what she's done. I really do hope she learns from this. And now, onto the next update. Hey all, it's been a couple of days, and I've gotten a bunch of messages about updates. Right now, we're still going through resulting situations from all of this, so I'll just give you what I have for now. I don't know if I'm adding to this update right, but if I am, good. And if not, I'm sorry, and the first part is on my profile. First, I'll answer some common questions. A lot of people seem to be hung up on the 4-hour nap a lot. I'm a sleeper. I love sleep. I sleep at her place all the time. It's not that deep, but it's probably why I'm in this predicament anyway. Another thing is the cameras. In this day and age, I think people should have cameras in their houses. I have them at my place too. I got them installed after I hired my first babysitter, and I figured out a lot of stuff from reviewing footage. It doesn't have to be in every room, just common areas. On to the actual update. My niece came over to formally apologize to my husband and me. She cried throughout the entire apology. She said she hadn't done it to anyone else, just me. I kept asking why, and she kept repeating that she was sorry. My husband thinks she probably thought that I would be the one to forgive the easiest, and I told her exactly why I was upset and how she had hurt me and my husband. I told her that I would be going low contact with her for the foreseeable future. I let her know that I cancelled the birthday and any gift that she would have gotten. The only thing that she would get from me is her first college tuition, which I had promised a long time ago. I'm doing this as a courtesy to my sister more than anything else. I know it would help her a great deal. Niece will also not be allowed in my house for the foreseeable future. Her dad also reached out and apologized to us. We've decided not to go the legal route as a favor to my sister's family. They have a lot on their plate right now, and I wouldn't want to make their life more complicated. During this conversation, she denied having a crush on my husband, as a lot of you guys had suspected. I asked if she felt I wasn't being attentive enough to her, and she said no. Oh, and I found out that she had texted 2 other people. It was nothing serious, but still. Some people were asking if she had mental issues, and to my knowledge, she has none. She was tested when she was younger, and she had none. She kind of liked drama in elementary and middle school, but nothing worrisome. We told her that she would be starting therapy, to which she said nothing was wrong with her. My husband then said that people who were okay would not do what she did. Her mother added that it was just to help her go about things in more normal ways. Also, the PC will be going to my brother's son, who will be going to college this fall. It'll probably be more useful to him. My kids have since blocked her. She was made to get a new job. She previously worked for her uncle on her dad's side, but they thought it would be better if she worked somewhere entirely different with no family relations. My mum's been upset with my husband and me. She said we were going too far and that she was just a kid. One of my uncles and 2 of my aunts are on her side and have been harassing us with texts and calls. My sister and her husband are on our side though. Over a couple of days following the conversation at my place, my mum has been updating us that my niece was depressed, cries every day, and keeps repeating that she did not mean it. Everyone hates her and is no longer speaking to her. That her second mum no longer loves her or cares about her. She says they have taken away everything from her. Trigger warning, self-harm. On the 12th, my niece attempted to take her life. Her older sister found her. She left a note apologizing for all of the hurt that she caused and said that we would all be better without her. She wrote that she would be better off gone than having to live her life knowing that I hate her and that my kids do not want to be close to her anymore. She wrote a lengthy letter actually, but I can't fit it all in here. She's currently still in the PEDS ICU as she has done some extensive damage to herself. I've been to the hospital every day since I found out. My husband says maybe we went too far. My mother says she will curse me and never speak to my family if I don't make things go back to the way they were. My children think that it's their fault and they're willing to apologize for blocking and cutting her off. I'm more conflicted than I was a week ago. It's like everyone is looking to me to fix it all. I don't really know what to do right now. My sister keeps saying I don't have to do anything, but she has been bawling. My niece's other siblings have all texted me variations of, I know she hurt you, but forgive and forget because she almost died. My extended family has been a lot too. You're a grown woman waging war on a 16-year-old. You are evil and don't deserve good things. I hope your life ends up like what you're giving niece. I've gotten messages from strangers too because my sister's mother-in-law posted on Facebook that I was a bitter woman hurting her granddaughter and a bunch of other things. So the past 3 days have been mentally miserable for me. Not to take away from what my sister's family is going through, but I am sad, heartbroken, confused, and just tired. Please send prayers my sister's way. I'm not sure how this is all going to end, but I'll let everyone know when she's out of the ICU and whatever else happens. Thank you for all of your advice and supportive words. I appreciate it all. In the comments, Familiar Set says, you are not responsible for her actions. Agreed. And if I was OP, I would not be apologizing or making any changes unless advised to do so by the niece's psychiatrist or therapist. Making any retractions now could further complicate things. The extended family needs to back off as they could cause way more harm than good. Amen. OP, you wrote, some people were asking if she had mental issues. To my knowledge, she has none. We told her that she would be starting therapy, to which she said nothing was wrong with her. My husband then said that people who were okay wouldn't do what she did. Please repeat to yourself Familiar Set's excellent comment and know that what your niece attempted is clear evidence of her lack of mental health. Your mother is a fool, and perhaps you and your sister need to go to her together and explain the consequences the two of you decide that she will face for her toxic actions towards you. And now, onto the latest update. Thank you everyone for your comments, DMs, and advice. I've gotten a lot of DMs and comments for an update, so I'll tell you what's happened since the last update. First, I want to give a big shout out to my sister, niece's mum. She can't see this, but I just want those words out there. I've said them to her too, but I want you guys to hear it as well. She's not only been my biggest defender against all the flying monkeys despite what she's going through, but she's also been so good to me. She stood up for me to my mother and relatives. She also counterposted on Facebook after all that stuff from her mother-in-law. Secondly, I want to address those asking how my niece did it and how she was found. She ingested something harmful. We're not exactly sure of what it was, but it was a mixture of cleaning supplies. Her oldest sister found her on the bathroom floor. She was extubated on the 16th after she got a whole bowel irrigation and one-time hemodialysis because she had given herself an acute kidney injury. She was intubated for 26 hours. She is now out of the ICU and is now on the PEDS med-surg unit. The same evening she left the ICU, she had to be put on a 72-hour psych hold and will be transferring to an inpatient psych facility when she is medically cleared. She did get a psych evaluation, and so far, she's been diagnosed with ADHD, depression, and histrionic personality disorder. The psychiatrists say that she might also have borderline personality disorder, but that would be determined better at the psych facility. I'm still low contact with my niece. I've only had one phone call with her in which I told her that I loved her and we're getting her help. Her therapist said to reinsert my presence in her life, but make no promises like, if you get help, we'll be okay, or something like that. She says since I've previously been a positive presence, it might help to have me in the background while she heals. She gave me suggestions for my background presence, like letters, phone calls, or visits if I feel like it. I am not to give her any gifts or rewards. I haven't decided which one to go with yet. I might just send a letter monthly. My sister did look through my niece's phone and found no NSFW pictures of me or my husband, but she did delete the streaming apps that my niece got access to. I know some people were worried about her taking those photos. I know she saw them though. My children are in therapy, both individual and family. My husband and I finally explained the entire thing in detail to them, including my struggles during my first pregnancy and how my niece's prank was a trigger. The therapist helped us facilitate the whole thing better. Niece's other siblings are in therapy now too. The oldest has since apologized for her texts and her harsh voicemails. We've also sent the kids to my in-laws for the next 3 weeks. Therapy will be online. I also blocked my mother on their phones. They are to speak to none of my relatives for now. My mother doubled down and started coming at my children via texts and calls. That's one of the reasons that we sent them away. My brother-in-law, niece's dad, broke down while she was still comatose and did a full 180. He left me a long voicemail saying that I was hurting his baby girl and ripping her away from him. I did not like him when he first started dating my sister, and he says I was using my niece to break him because I hated him. If something happens to her, he won't forgive me. This is a complete opposite of his stance before. I don't know if it's grief or his mum in his ears, but he is now at odds with his wife because she agrees with keeping the consequences that we all agreed on, but the husband says to relent. My family and my other sisters are trying to be her, niece's mum, support in every way that we can. I've had to completely cut my mother off from my family, including some of my aunts and uncles. My dad is divorced from my mother and lives on the other side of the country. He is on my side with this whole thing. I have 2 brothers, and they're both on my mum's side, while all of my sisters are on my side. My mother sent me a very devastating text that I'll just copy and paste here because I don't even know if I can explain it. OP, you are the most disgraceful child I have ever birthed. I curse the day that you were put in my arms. Your life will never know peace as long as you never give peace to your niece. You are so vile, and you will go to hell for causing this amount of harm to your sister's family. You are no daughter of mine, and I do not claim you. Do not call me your mother. Keep your unclean children away from me too. If you come close to me, I'll strangle you and feed you toilet cleaners, like how your niece attempted. What kind of mother sends this to her child? I took a screenshot, blocked that number, and printed off a copy of the text. This devil incarnate of a woman proceeded to email me 2 days later to tell me to send my share of the money for remodeling her house. Yeah, like a cursed child would do that. I simply blocked her email too. I don't even know why she called my children unclean. I had them all post-marriage with one man. This has been the longest month of my life, and it isn't even over yet. I had a panic attack the other day because of everything. This darling man that I'm married to has been my biggest rock and support. I genuinely do not know what I would do without him. How I would repay him for all of this, I do not know. I spend most of my days just crying. My mental health is suffering, my work is suffering, and I am just tired. I know this was super long, so if you've read all of this, thank you. Thank you for sticking with me and holding me up with your words and virtual presence. You all probably see this often, but I genuinely want to thank each and every one of you. I can't wait for all of this to be over so that I can get some normalcy back and be able to breathe well again. In the comments, Unzen Jep says, "This is all horrible, and you are still not to blame for the niece's mental illness. It seems also that she has inherited some of it from your mother. She needs to have an evaluation too with the mean, crazy nonsense that she's dropping on you. Do not take it to heart. Be sad about all of the broken people, but don't let them blame you. OP says, my mother has never been this bad. She sometimes says crazy stuff. We used to just assume that she was bitter, especially after her divorce from our dad, but I agree that she has to have some sort of mental illness. Although that is no longer my business because she is dead to me. And Successful Bitch says, has your mom often made you feel less than compared to your other siblings? Because this blatant favoritism to every family member other than to you and your kids is appalling. And OP says, not really, but she usually favored my brothers over me and my sisters. I was the third sibling to have kids, so it didn't really mean much to her, and her relationship with my children is somewhat okay. They prefer their dad's parents though. She does show favoritism with my brother's kids though. Man, what do I even say after all of that? Like, that was an odyssey after an already emotionally charged first story to deal with. I still don't think that the niece's actions are the fault of OP. Like, don't blame yourself for what she chose to do. It's a terrible thing to happen, absolutely, but it's not OP's fault. OP didn't force her to do any of that. And to turn this entire situation around on her and send a text message like that to make OP just, I don't know, to make her do what? I don't know what the mum wanted her to do, to just give up on defending herself when the psych evaluation, the doctors, everyone has told her that what she is doing is the correct thing. Does the mum just want her to give up? Say, oh no, everything's actually all hunky-dory, and I'm gonna do the exact opposite of what the doctors told me to do, and hurt her even more. Yeah, that'd be such a smart thing, just so that you, my mother, can feel better about yourself, and like I'm doing the right thing in this situation. I don't know how OP comes back from this or recovers from a situation like this one. This is all incredibly damaging, and if I'm honest, this looks like a permanent scar on the family that is not going to heal. I don't think you can have a relationship with your mother after that. That came out of nowhere. She should have kept her words and her thoughts to herself and got help. But instead she decided to take it all out on OP when OP is not the one that did any wrong here. She's being scapegoated so hard and attacked so hard for this. What about what niece did to start all of this? Are we just going to forget all of that? That she tried to break up OP's marriage? Oh, so it's all forgiven now? Right. Okay. No, I'm still on your side for this one, OP. I'm sorry that all of these things have happened to you, but genuinely, what can you do about it at this point? Besides, deal with the situation as is, recover what you can from those familial bonds that have been broken, and just give it time. Thank you for the story. Thank you for the update. This was a lot. I hope it all continues to get better from here. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to leave you. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, let me know what you thought of it down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.